Hello. Some of you are not going to like what I'm about to say in this video, but it has to be said. This is why I think we aren't getting ARTPOP Act 2, not this year, not ever. This year is the 10th anniversary of ARTPOP. The 10th anniversary will actually be in November, but obviously we're very excited because Gaga's not really doing much at the minute. So all we have to do to pass the time is just sit and speculate what's going to happen next. And for a lot of people, they think that this is going to be ARTPOP Act 2. I just think anyone who's still waiting for ARTPOP Act 2 is either a new fan, which is fine, or they weren't here during the ARTPOP era, which is fine, or you were here and you just weren't paying attention. That album had a lot of things that were promised that didn't happen. To name a few, Gaga being the first person to perform in space, music videos for every song, the Venus video, the Do What You Want video, the app. There's a lot that didn't happen. Let me read you this. So this is Gaga talking about what is going to be on the ARTPOP app. It will be a multimedia experience that comes in different forms. The most major way to fully immerse yourself in ARTPOP is through the app. ARTPOP will be released as an iPad, iPhone, mobile and computer-compatible application that is completely interactive with chats, films for every song, extra music, content, Gaga-inspired games, fashion updates, magazines and more still in the works. I think they were also planning like makeup tutorials. They were planning having this thing called Trackstar where you could like take all of the stems of the ARTPOP songs and make your own remixes. There was a lot planned and all we got was like a GIF maker. Was there anything else on the ARTPOP app? You could just make those weird GIFs, that's what I remember. So yeah, a lot was supposed to happen that just didn't come through. And I think people obviously are like, oh yeah, this was a traumatic time for Gaga, but you don't really deep what that means. She made this album while she was touring for Born This Way. And if you forgot what happened during the Born This Way ball, she broke her hip. And this trauma, as we know from her 5'2" documentary, still affects her health to this day. Breaking her hip still is like a big part of her fibromyalgia flare-ups. So that trauma from 2012 is still present in Gaga's body today. So, you know, there's that. That happened while she was making the album. She went in a period of kind of like privacy and she was quite sad. I don't know if you remember, she was spotted a couple of times when she was recovering from surgery, but when she was ready to come back, she was so excited about ARTPOP. You know, she was talking about it like it was going to be the best album of her career, and I really loved ARTPOP, so, you know, I don't think she was like out of order or anything for saying that, because I absolutely thought it was brilliant. So just there was a lot of general excitement about the album. And then obviously as it went on, it was like just more and more things kind of went wrong. The main one being that her manager she literally parted ways with her manager like a week before the album came out. So imagine the whole promo cycle being planned, ready to go, and you fire your manager. Things must have been pretty bad for Gaga to fire her manager who she's known since 2007. Like, do you understand? Like, she would probably still be writing songs for other artists at that time, writing for the Pussycat Dolls, writing for Britney Spears, writing for all these people. She wasn't famous as Lady Gaga by herself at that point, and Troy Carter knew her then. So for her to cut ties with him a week before an album release, it must have been pretty bad. There were rumours that he wanted more radio-friendly tracks on the album and she wasn't willing to budge. There were rumours that they had a massive argument at the MTV VMA Awards, which would have been August, a few months before the album released in November. I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a leak of an alleged original performance plan for what Gaga wanted to do at the VMAs. Obviously, Gaga did that brilliant performance of Applause where she wore all the different outfits from each era so far in her career. What she originally wanted to do was have Gaga lookalikes all over the venue, all over the red carpet, and allegedly MTV said no because that year was the year they wanted it to be about like the Miley twerking thing. So there's rumours that her and Troy argued about that. I think when it comes to like the app not working out, personally the way I see it is that the app stuff was probably more coming from Troy than the house, if that makes sense. So, you know, Troy was kind of responsible for littlemonsters.com. We know that Gaga used that all the time, sort of in the Born This Way ball and leading up to ARTPOP. She used it all the time because it was the best place to communicate with her fans. She obviously doesn't really use it anymore. She doesn't use any social media anymore. And I feel like that's another big sort of red flag as to why, you know, fans should realise that she doesn't want to revisit ARTPOP. All the awful things that she saw her own fans, say about her all the time during the ARTPOP era. She had direct access to what her actual fans were thinking thinking about her through littlemonsters.com. So back to what I was saying about Troy, he was obviously pushing for that app kind of experience. I don't know if you remember, Gaga did a performance at the YouTube Awards where she was crying. She performed Dope, and it was like a very odd, emotional performance. And then the news broke the next day that she'd parted ways with Troy over creative differences. A couple of months later, Gaga posted this statement, I believe on littlemonsters.com. It is late because just like with the applause video, unfortunately, I was given a week to plan and execute it. It is very devastating for someone like me. I devote every moment of my life creating fantasies for you. All my most successful videos were planned over a period of time when I was rested and my creativity was honoured. Those who have betrayed me gravely mismanaged my time and health and left me on my own to damage control any problems that ensued as a result. Millions of dollars are not enough for some people. They want billions. Then they need trillions. I was not enough for some people. They wanted more. I am very grateful to the photographers and designers who have always stood by me to make sure my fans are never aware of the things that happen behind the scenes. But unfortunately, after my surgery, I was too sick, too tired, and too sad to control the damage on my own. My label was not aware that this was going on. So she kind of explains there, obviously people that were in her team, very close to her, have been not prioritising her as a person, but really prioritising her as a moneymaker. And the rest of the message that she wrote is more of like her hopes of what she wants the next phase of art pop to be, which, as we know, didn't really happen. She gave us the GUI video, which I truly believe was like her, because she funded the GUI video herself, so I truly believe that was her sort of like final gift to the fans. Like, sorry, all of these promises didn't happen, but I can give you this. That's how I felt about the GUI video. So with that in mind, this is what she said in the rest of her statement. The next few months of art pop will truly be its beginning, because those who did not care about art pop's success are now gone, and the dreams I have been planning can now come to fruition. Please forgive me that I did not foresee this coming. I never thought, after all the years of hard work, that those I called friends and partners would ever care so little at a time I needed them the most. Give me a chance to show you the meaning of seeing art all around you. Open your hearts to me again, that I may show you the joy of us coming together through our talents, that we are stronger as a unit than when we are alone. Let me be for you the goddess that I know I truly am. Let me show you the visions that have been in my mind for 2 years. I love you, forgive me monsters, forgive me art pop, you are my whole world. You are so beautiful, and your message to me is so powerful. In fact, it is much more than the media has also supported me in the past. There are always ups and downs. My heart breaks from the people I have trusted and loved, who I've worked so closely with, who have used me, lied to me, worked me into the ground for the personal gain. And this, I think, is the most interesting and most important part of the statement. When I woke up in the hospital after my surgery, there were many people that were not there. My health did not matter. I did not matter unless I could perform. This is a very hard lesson. I have lost loved ones to the greed of money. It is not Interscope. They in fact love me very much and will see art pop to the end. So that was Gaga's statement about, you know, all of the sort of broken promises and those learnings that she came to during the art pop era. Like I said, following this, we had the GUI video, we had the Art Rave tour, which was amazing. But I truly think this was a very hard lesson for Gaga to learn. And you can see the damage in every album cycle she's had following that. And when she talks about the way jazz has saved her life and saved her, you know, she thought she would never perform again until she started singing jazz with Tony Bennett. You really, reading that and looking back at that statement, you really understand where she was at that time. And she wasn't exaggerating when she said those things about Tony Bennett. Moving on to what people want, which is ARTPOP Act 2. I personally think ARTPOP Act 2 already exists. It's called Chromatica. I don't know if you've heard of it. ARTPOP was the first time for me where Gaga was really open about the fact that she had been through trauma. Swine, she told us what that song was about. And she may have alluded to that kind of trauma in her career all along, but that was the first time for me that she was directly saying, I have been through this horrible thing. And obviously that continued in Chromatica. And she wasn't just, you know, making sad, slow piano songs about, you know, the pain she was in, but on both of those albums, they had very important messages made with upbeat dance music. So for me, that's one reason why I love Chromatica so much, is because I loved art pop at the time, and it was a direction I wanted Gaga to keep on going in, but You know, we got Joanne, which I truly think she needed to make Joanne and get that out of her system before she could go and make Chromatica, which is fine. But that for me is why I love Chromatica so much, because it just feels like the evolution of what art pop began. It's also quite sad looking in retrospect how like the art pop era didn't go the way we all wanted, and the same thing happened with the Chromatica era. Art pop, obviously the problems were with Gaga's team, and Chromatica, the problems obviously were with the fact that we were in a global pandemic. Also, looking back at art pop, it explains why Gaga kind of lost interest in Chromatica as soon as those challenges were present. It seemed to me like, you know, COVID shut everything down and it put all of the stuff on pause, and instead of making Gaga think, I'm going to innovate and what can I do under these circumstances, which I think she would have done earlier in her career, I think going through art pop, it just made her not want to do it, because I think it took her back to that place. I also don't think we're going to get Art Pop Act 2 just because the songs, I don't think it is the case that there is a hard drive of, you know, fully finished songs sat around somewhere. We had Brooklyn Nights, she nearly put it on the album, but she still wanted us to hear it, so she leaked it herself. I don't know if anyone remembers this, but she sent it to a fan who she really trusted, and, you know, with the intention of not not having it leaked to the whole fan base, just she sent it to a fan that she trusted. They sent it to their friends sent it to their friends, and gradually everyone was being sent this song, and then gradually someone leaked it publicly. That's how we got to hear Brooklyn Nights. And I think she probably knew there was a chance of that happening when she shared it with a fan, but other than that song, everything else on Art Pop Act 2 I don't think works. She's never going to release a song with Azealia Banks, so Red Flame is out. What else is there? Nothing on But the Radio. Okay, well, Addison Rae has bought that song and recorded her version of it. We don't even know if Gaga even wrote that song or if that was just a random demo she recorded. What else is there? There's like other songs that we allegedly have snippets of instrumentals for, like Onion Girl and Tea and Tinnitus, but we don't have any evidence of those songs. They could just be concepts that Gaga came up with. They might not be fully finished, completed demos even. You have to understand, I feel like this era, you could see with all of those broken promises that Gaga was just sharing every thought with us. She was sharing things before they were confirmed, and we took them as promises, and they weren't promises, they were just things Gaga was thinking at the time. She could tweet some lyrics to something she's written that day. It doesn't mean it's a fully finished song. It just means she came up with some lyrics that day and wanted to tweet it. So I just feel like with Art Pop Act 2, lower your expectations. What I actually think will happen with the 10th anniversary is after the Born This Way 10th anniversary, where they did that re-release of the album with loads of covers and they did loads of expensive merch, they'll be looking to do something similar for sure. We're going to get something. I just think it's probably going to be like a merch collection or like a special edition vinyl, or at best we'll get an unreleased photo. I would say, you know, back in the day with art pop, if she was still the same artist as she was in 2012, we would be getting outtakes for sure. That's what she did on Born This Way. She gave us an outtake for Christmas one year. She's just not that person anymore. So I just think, let it go. Appreciate what we have. We have Art Pop, which is Act 1. And we have Chromatica, which I truly feel like is Act 2. With these collages, I've made 2 different ones because I just feel like art pop has a duality to it. For me, art pop is like the party and the come down. There's moments that are really high and there's moments that are really low, and I feel like even putting like Mary J. Holland and Dope next to each other, you can really see how Gaga was like going through it with addiction and numbing the pain and then kind of crashing back to reality at the same time, and she was battling with that. So I made 2 collages. One is like the fun, the party, the high, the rave, all of that kind of fun stuff, and then the other one is more like what it's like to kind of numb your pain with substances, because it helps, but temporarily. These are what I created. I'm happy with these. Let me know if you like them. I might scan them and make prints maybe. With this one, I was debating adding a Dali mustache like this, but I don't know, I haven't decided yet. So let me know what you think. I hope this hasn't made you too sad, because it is really sad to go back and look at art pop, but I think it's important that we remember, just because we love the music so much and we love, you know, the aesthetic and the visuals and the message so much, that doesn't mean that Gaga still feels that way. I even feel like when, you know, people do things like Gaga does a photo shoot and her art pop tattoo is on show, people are like, she's putting it there on purpose. No, she's not. It's her arm. It's her arm. She's just a human posing. She's just moving her arms. It's there. It's not intentional, and Gaga clearly feels awkward about answering questions where she doesn't want to sound like she hates the album because she knows we all love it so much. If this was even 2 years ago, I would say for sure House Labs are going to release some kind of like 10th anniversary collection for ARTPOP, even if it is a bit tragic like the Born This Way vault was. However, now that House Labs has rebranded, I truly don't know if they're going to release like a special ARTPOP collection or not. I don't really see it. I can see them maybe doing a cute little makeup bag that just says House Labs on it like they did with the Red Vault, and just include some of the pigment paints because they're the most sort of similar things to like the Applause face paint look. You could redo it with those. But yeah, truly I don't see House Labs like doing a massive thing. I don't see Gaga doing a massive thing. I'm sure she'll do some tweets. I'm sure the house will be releasing some merch, especially as, you know, not long ago the house did kind of update her website with like all merch from all eras, which was really exciting. But I really think that that's going to kind of be the extent of what we get for the 10th anniversary. I'm sure DJ White Shadow will have a lot to say, even though he's sworn not to talk about ARTPOP anymore. He will definitely be talking about it. And, you know, a lot of house members will probably be throwing back, posting some throwbacks and posting some bits, you know. Sorry to burst your bubble, that's just how I feel. I still love the album, but like I say, I just think that's fine that we can love it and we can appreciate it. Gaga already knows that we love it. We've already done all of that. She's already tweeted about, you know, the petition and everything. Let's just let ARTPOP Act 2 stay in the vault. Not that it actually exists as a fully finished album, but let's just leave the idea back in 2013 where it was born, and just, you know, appreciate what we have now, which is Chromatica, which is a brilliant, brilliant album with similar themes and similar topics, similar vibes to ARTPOP anyway. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because obviously all of this is just, you know, my estimation and my opinion. I don't actually know anything. So just let me know what you think. I'd be happy to hear it. Thanks so much for watching. Best wishes and kisses.